it's Lipstick Gal. Thank you for watching today. I wanted to go through all of my makeup purchases for 2020. I know we're in August and I did a lot of purchasing last month, but I wanted to see how much of what I've purchased this year I'm still loving, I'm still using, still excites me. And I thought that one would be interesting because I know a lot of us are purchasing less right now. And I still didn't expect that I'd have this much makeup, but let's talk about it. So for me, easiest thing to do is start with complexion products. I purchased this at the beginning of the year. This is the CoverGirl Advanced Radiance. I heard someone mention that a CoverGirl powder was being discontinued, and I hope it's not this because this is the most beautiful drugstore powder I have ever used. Now, it has the smallest, most like mini mirror ever, but this is the weird is I normally don't use these little applicators that come in products like this, but I've used this a lot. And you can't really see it, but there is a huge dip on this side because this is where I put my fingers here and then I pull. I need to start pulling from the other side to even it out, but I use this all the time. Corners of the nose, a little bit under the eye. I love this powder. It's beautiful. About 3 concealers so far this year. And what's sad is that I really haven't been reaching for a lot of these. I used these a lot when I first got them. These two are from the drugstore. This one is from Makeup Revolution. This is their Conceal and Hydrate Radiant Concealer with hyaluronic acid and acai. And this is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I like the texture of this one better. I feel like it sits better on my skin. This, by the way, is in the shade Fair Warm. This is in the shade C3, and this is like an exact carbon copy of like my skin, like especially like right in through here. It's not too brightening. It doesn't give me like that really out of control brightness under the eyes. I can tap this in and it blends into my skin tone and just use it here, 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 and on my hyperpigmentation spot, and like I'm out the door. I feel like the consistency of this is a little bit drier. So I haven't really been reaching for these a lot. It hasn't stopped me from reaching for my high-end concealers. This is one that I paid a pretty penny for. This is from Uma Beauty. This is their Stay Woke Concealer, and this is the shade T1 White Pearl. All of these have a really large doe foot, I'll tell you. This one has more of a whipped texture to it, but it dries really quickly. I feel like both of these, because they are hydrating, radiant, and have those features to them, you can swipe it on wherever you want. And as time allows, you can just go in and blend it out with a brush or your finger or a sponge or what have you. This is one, you put it down and you blend, and then you put it down and you blend. I learned that the hard way. And I had a couple of days where in my habit of just swiping all the places on my face that I want to swipe concealer onto, I had some pretty interesting lines of demarcation, like here's where the concealer is and here's where it didn't blend out to. So what is great about this though is it has a great longevity. And I feel like this shade's a little dark for me. If I'm looking at these two, it is just a hair darker than this. I can make it work on days where I'm wearing just this and not any foundation, because most of my foundations are a shade lighter than this, and it's pretty obvious that I don't have a good match going on. But on foundationless days, I can make this work. I just have to remember how best to apply it. But I really haven't been reaching for any of these. I still am in love with my higher end concealers. I bought 3 blushes so far this year. This is the first one that I ordered. This is from Makeup Geek. This is in the shade Covet. And this is one a lot of look. And since I'm so fair, I didn't realize it because the photo online didn't look this intense. It looked a little bit softer. It looked like it would be more of a slightly deeper peachy shade, but not to the point where I feel like this would look so much better on medium to deeper skin tones. Probably not deep skin tones, but medium to tan would look gorgeous on them. And on me, I run straight into clown territory. So I have to be oh so careful. I use a duo fiber brush and then I have to use a buffing powder over the top. And sometimes I don't want to work that hard. Another one that I had not really fallen in love with is this one from Bare Minerals. This is their Bounce and Blur, and this is the shade Coral Cloud. And I think for me, it's mostly just application. They say it's fingertip friendly. I don't really find that it's that easy to put on with your fingertip, and I find it doesn't last as long as I would want it to. So this is not my favorite blush. The one that I love and I've used so much is from M Cosmetics. This is their Heaven's Glow in the shade Magic Hour. So this is what I was hoping the one from Makeup Geek would be. This one tends to lean just a little bit more peach. It's right here. And for my skin tone is the perfect peachy shade without being too much. So as you can see, I've been looking for a peachy shade, and I tend to gravitate towards that. And I love this shade when you put it on and you really blend and blend and blend and buff it out. It's so much prettier, but it takes a lot of work to make it work. I only purchased one highlight this year, and it's this. Now I had one of these. This is the Vanish Stick Highlight from Hourglass. I had one of these come in a BoxyCharm, but it was in the wrong shade. So during a Boxy pop-up, I ordered this shade, and this one makes my heart so happy, and it's beautiful. It's Champagne Flash. So it was $12, and it's normally like 40 something, and I was like, yes, please. So I picked this up, and I'm so happy to have it. I have continued to use it, and I love it a lot. And I'd been wanting it since it first came out a couple years ago. I just didn't want to spend the 40 some odd dollars. So when I can get it at a reduced price, very happy with this purchase. Another highlight that I have acquired this year came from Sydney Grace. This is the shade Sweet Peach. It's a loose highlight. It's a little bit darker than I would normally wear, and it's too dark for my skin tone. You can definitely see a dark streak when I'm wearing it. But this came in their mystery bag for their Christmas and July sale. I'm going to try and find another way to use this or pass it on to a friend who would look absolutely stunning in this. But it's definitely, I like the formula, just the shade is not ideal for me. I did pick up a couple of brow products. I'm trying to find a really beautiful brow gel at the drugstore. This is from L'Oreal. This is their Brow Stylist Boost and Set Volumizing Brow Mascara. My kids are in the kitchen making noise on the other side of the wall. This one, I like the way that it works. The only problem I have is with this itty bitty teeny tiny brow brush. I get a lot of product collecting right here at the bottom, so I spend a lot of time just kind of cleaning off this part of the wand because it's so much and it just kind of goops in my brows. It also has a lot of spaces between the bristles where a lot of product lands, and since I don't have a ton of brow hair, when I start brushing this through, I have to be really careful. Now, this one takes a little finagling. This one is like super hard. This is from Albay. It's the Brow Styler, and I like, again, that it's a really tiny wand. It's a little bit longer than the other one, only the gaps in this one are so large. They collect so much product that if I don't like roll it on the back of my hand or scrape it off like this, I end up with like brow gel like all around the circumference of my brows, which is not the look that I'm going for. So this one, because I don't have a ton of brow hair, if you have more brow hair than I do, you might really like this one. I love the really skinny brush that it has. I wish it was just a little bit shorter. I like the size of the brush on this one better, but again, neither of these are perfect for my limited brow hairs. One thing that I bought this year that I have used so much, but I know it's going to take me years to get through, is the Milani eyeshadow primer. I finally broke down and followed Emily Noel's advice, and I've been like, why hadn't I done it before? My eyeshadow looks turn out so beautiful, last forever, and have like the best pigmentation. Love this stuff so much, and I really think that it's worth the price tag at the drugstore. I don't think I'll ever buy another high-end one. Have to be really good. So this is a product that came in my Beautylish Lucky Bag at the beginning of the year. This is from Cover FX. It's a shimmer veil. It's in the shade Celestial. I have never used it. I decided to leave it in here thinking I'd pass it on to a friend, and I never got around to it, and then lockdown hit and I still got around to it. But I don't want to open it, but I don't use these glitter shades like this, these liquid shadows that are glitters, because I find that I end up with sparkle where I don't want them. But I didn't pick this shade. I did buy the Lucky Bag and I did pay for the Lucky Bag, so the makeup from the Lucky Bag is in here. But I would definitely say that this is not a product that I get a ton of use out of. Something else that came in my Lucky Bag that I'm grateful to have, and I used a lot more before lockdown hit, and it's this. It's the Viseart Grande Pro Volume 3. This is a beautiful, totally matte eyeshadow palette. I've used a lot of the greens. I've used more of these warmy neutral shades in through here. I did a look with this blue and this kind of green here. Love. And I really want to go back in here and pick out the pastel shades, you know, do like a bright all yellow eye, or to do kind of like this pastel-y orange shade, or to use some of these, you know, other pastel shades that are not quite white, but to do a fun look with them. And I've done that a couple of times, but I keep forgetting that I have this because it doesn't sit like right here on my table. But I definitely love the quality. This is not one that I would have chosen on my own because I don't really go for your standard rainbow palette, but beautiful. At the beginning of the year, I picked up this bite-sized palette from e.l.f. I used it a lot before lockdown hit, and then I quit wearing eyeshadow. But I'll tell you, I feel like these $3 shadows are amazing. You get a full quad, you get a full look, and I've used this a lot. This shade right here actually has a little well in it, a little dip. I don't know if you can tell from me using it so much. It's not, I just swatched it right here. It's not the most pigmented palette, but you get a really beautiful soft look. And if you're looking for an inexpensive but good quality product at the drugstore, this is beautiful. This one, by the way, is in the shade Rosewater. I wanted to try the new Makeup Geek eyeshadow quads. This is a pre-selected quad from Makeup Geek, and I tell you that I wish I had a shade lighter than this. These two shades here are beautiful. I've used these two shades alone. I've used these two shades alone. I've done a whole look with just all four of them. But I feel like for me, since my skin is fairer, these are more neutral to slightly deeper tones on my eyes. I love the combination of these shades, but I haven't reached for it as much. I need to remind myself that I have it, but I love the quality. I think the quality and the reformulation of these are really nice. Something that I used a lot, probably all spring long, was this. This is the Too Faced Born This Way, the Natural Nudes palette, and for me, it's the color story. I love these kind of soft mattes right here. I love the more pinky, rosy tones that you get. The one complaint I had was this shade right here and this shade right here. They're kind of like a flaky foil, and they look great when you pick them up on the finger like this, but getting them to work on your eye with a brush is almost impossible, and they look really crunchy, really chunky. So these two shades are not my favorite, but I feel like the rest of the foils are okay. Now, I prefer the mattes out of this palette than the foils, but I can get a really pretty look out of this, and I used this a ton until I started using more Sydney Grace shadows, and I feel like this has kind of gone by the wayside, but that's what I purchased most recently, is Sydney Grace, but I do like this, and I have used it a lot this year. Talking about something that I've used a lot, Sydney Grace. This is the Enduring Love palette. This debuted in January. And can you see the little dip I have here? I've got another dip over here in this one. And I'm surprised you can't see the dip in these two shades, but I use those incessantly. My favorite thing to do in the crease, a little bit higher on the lid. It's a super easy, super basic look, and it's amazing. But I'll tell you that this is the first cool toned eyeshadow palette that I've truly fallen in love with. I think a lot of it is just the formula, but I love also that Sydney Grace has, this is the light version of the palette. They have a deep version as well for people with deeper skin tones than myself. These are my July favorites. These are the Sydney Grace 9-pan palettes. This is Summer Days. Love so much. And then this is the Chase Your Dreams. For me, the one shade that I had a hard time getting to look was this one right here. This one's called Be Bold. And I didn't get it to build up the way it looked in the pan on my eye. So this shade and one other shade from the singles that I purchased are the two that I've been like a little underwhelmed with. It didn't perform poorly. It just didn't give me the full impact that I was expecting. But I do love both of these palettes. This one I've gotten a lot of use out of. But yeah, love those. Now, if we're talking the singles, these are all my Sydney Grace singles I picked up during the Christmas and July sale. I wasn't planning on filling a whole magnetic palette, but here they are. I'm using these shades here, some of the neutrals here, and some of the lighter tones, and this deep shade here on my eyes today. Love these so much, and I know I'm going to continue to get a lot of use out of these, but these are still fairly new to my collection. This set of 5 right here is from the Light Warm Mystery Bag that came along with the highlight. There was a pressed blush. There is also a loose glitter. I love these guys. I haven't had a chance to use them a lot because I've been trying to cycle through all of the new Sydney Grace that I have, but I love the look that I did with this. I'll link it for you right here if you're curious, but definitely love those. I realized I should have broken this up into a couple of videos. If you're still here, thank you. Lips, I'm gonna try and be brief. I picked these guys up early in the year. I'm trying to discover more lip products from the drugstore. I do like the formula of these. These are the Almay Color and Care Lip Oil and Stick. I like that they have clear caps where you can see straight through to the shade of the bullet. I feel like this shade here in Dulce de Leche is a really pretty shade if you tend to like nudes with almost no color. It's right here, but you can't really see it. It's mostly gloss, and I like that. And it's one that I feel not bad if I have it in my pocket and my kids are like, my lips are dry, I can toss them that. This shade here, this is Sugar Plum. I love this shade so much more because it is, to me, even though it's sheer and it's shiny, it is an actual shade. Where the other one, I can't really notice it when it's on my lips other than the shine from it. I do think that the formula is nice. I wish the packaging, I don't know if you can tell, but this is really gouged around the side. That's because the bullet is so soft that even though I only roll up just enough, the minute I start swiping, the bullet itself moves back and forth in the packaging. I wish it had a slimmer line package and there wasn't any gaps around it to keep the bullet of product itself straight, but it is a nourishing product. I feel like the $10 price point that I paid for each of these is a little steep for what it is, but if you like a barely there hint of color that's nourishing, you're gonna love these. I have used them a lot so far this year. One thing that I have not used a lot is this. This is from L'Oreal. This is the matte lip crayon and I have the shade Little Chili. I loved the shade. The shade of this is beautiful. It's kind of walking the line of being kind of a watermelon strawberry red. It definitely has more pink base to it than more terracotta or more of a warmer red. It's definitely more of that cooler leaning red. I really love the color, but the formula on my lips is not comfortable. And in applying it, I always get to the point where it starts to pull and drag, and I don't like that. And if my lips are not fully, completely, utterly, lusciously hydrated, this really dries them out, and then the day or two after can be a little bit uncomfortable and very flaky. I don't know that it's the best matte formula I've tried. I do like, though, that it's a very small point. You get a lot of precision with that. And if you have lips that don't dry out, you might really like this. This is a Charlotte Tilbury lip gloss, and it's called Belle de Soir. It's one that came in my Beautylish box at the beginning of the year. I don't know why I keep putting on more lip product. I can't help myself. I don't like the way it smells. It is very much a fragranced scent, but I don't really care for it. This is not a lip product that I would pay the $36 for, $34 for. I don't think that it's worth that price. I have used it, just not a lot. And I will tell you, the thing that I appreciate about this the most is the angled teardrop shape applicator to this. It kind of goes, it slants backwards, but I feel like the formula, especially for this really nude shade, can show up a little streaky. And heaven forbid you ever get any of it on the inside of your mouth because you start to taste kind of like a chemically aftertaste. And I'm sure I don't know if it's from the formulation or if it's from the scent that they put in there. I don't really like it, so it's not one that I reach for. This is not making me want to run out and buy another lip gloss by Charlotte Tilbury. What does make me want to run out and buy another lip gloss is this M Cosmetics True Gloss. Oh, I love. This, by the way, is in the shade Moroccan Sunset, and it is the most beautiful terracotta right here. It shears out beautifully. I've shared it out on my cheeks. I lost track of this. I knew where I had left it, and then I couldn't find it, and I was frantic, like, where is it? It turned out my oldest daughter wanted a lip gloss, so she took one of mine, and she took like my favorite one, and I was like, for months, I was like, I'm crazy, where is it? I love, love, love. And this is the sort of formula that inspires me to run out and buy another, and it has that same, backward angled, kind of teardrop shaped applicator. I love this. It doesn't really have a scent to it. It smells like a lip product, but it doesn't. I feel like this one, the scent to it is trying to cover the fact that it smells like a lip product, and this one just is. And I would rather smell what the ingredients are than trying to cover it up, because getting this on my tongue is the worst. Love this oh so much. It wears well, it fades well. Mwah! I want more of these. I had to tell myself no. Remember I mentioned earlier that I was looking for more drugstore lipsticks. I tend to like sheer, hydrating, glossy formulas. This one from L'Oreal, this is the Plump and Shine, the Color Riche Plump and Shine, and this is in Wild Fig Plump. I don't even know where to start swatching these anymore. It's beautiful. It has kind of like that plummy undertone, but it's not too pink, it's not too purple, it's super hydrating. And what's interesting about this is that when you put it on, it has something in there that's supposed to help your lips look a little plumper. So it does have a slightly kind of tingly effect. Not uncomfortable, but you will get that with the Plump and Shine. They do have just their Color Riche Shine Sticks, and I always wanted to try them, but this is the first one, and I love this shade. Another one that super surprised me is from Revlon. This right here is their Revlon Super Lustrous Shine Lipstick, and this is the shade Fire and Ice. I used to love Fire and Ice as just a regular shade when I was younger, in my early 20s, but I hadn't picked it up in a long time. And I love that it's kind of like a corally, hot tomatoey kind of shade. Love this so much. I feel like both of these have a similar feel to the YSL Rouge Volupté Shine, the oil and stick formula, because they're shiny, they're hydrating, they don't last like forever, and they come in really fun shades. I like both of these formulas. The hoarder in me wanted to run out and buy a whole bunch more, and the realist in me said, you have two. If you finish these up, you may try other shades. So these are the two I've used the most out of all of my drugstore lipsticks. These are the 5 drugstore lipsticks that I purchased this year. This one, not for me. These two I've used, but these are the ones that I spent a lot of this spring living in and early summer. So if we're talking about products that inspire me to want to purchase more, I feel like that's a good gauge. Not just that I like the product, but that I want more because those gave me such a good impression. The Wayne Goss lip glosses and lipsticks and lip pencil. I will leave for you the video I did about these here. I love these. I will tell you that I tend to like more of the cream gloss than the shimmer gloss. I suppose when I say cream, I'm thinking, you know, not shimmery and shimmery. And it makes me think of especially the packaging of these, of nail polishes, and cream formulas for nail polishes are the ones that don't have any shimmer in them. But I like both of these. This one here is in Cherry Blossom, and this one here I think is in Hibiscus. I like both of them. The shimmer in here is a little bit too aggressive for me, so I don't wear it as frequently. Now both of these lipsticks, they are the best lipsticks I've purchased since the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks. And they're a very different formula because Lisa Eldridge does the mattes. These are cream and they're beautiful. And this is my favorite shade. This is Zinnia. I'm gonna start swatching for you here. It's the deepest shade that he makes. I love these because they don't travel outside of my lip line. They don't collect in the lines of my lips. The older I get, the less fullness I have in my lips. And I feel like these don't do me dirty. They look beautiful. This one here is called Lily, and it's a nude, but kind of like a pinky nude. I use these both so much. I will tell you, I've used Zinnia so much. So when I had my surgery last month, this was the only lipstick I took with me. We spent 5 days in the Seattle area. We had to go up early for testing. And wearing a mask all the time, I was like, I'm not gonna be wearing makeup. But for me, I need something that's gonna make me feel pretty. This was what I took. This was my makeup armor. Lipstick, and I used it as rouge. Beautiful. So Zinnia right here and Lily right here, these are beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Makes me want to try more of his lipsticks. And I don't feel like I'm going to buy anybody else's lip liners other than Wayne's. I hope he comes out with a few more shades. This one here is called Mauve, but it's kind of like a plummy nude shade. I don't know. I thought it was similar to the lip cheat from Charlotte Tilbury in Pillow Talk. This is deeper. The other one's more nudie pink. This one definitely has that almost brown. It works well with both of these shades, but I'll tell you, the formula of this is great. It also doesn't go anywhere. It also helps to make my lip line more precise, and I feel like the lip cheats from Charlotte Tilbury, I have a couple of these, and the ColourPop ones, since they're more of a gel formula, they tend to, if you're not careful, they can travel a bit. or can be a little bit more drying. This isn't drying. I don't know. This feels like magic to me. Love so much. So a few things left. This is from Kopari. This is their Lip Glossy in Birthday Suit. This is basically just like a little lip balm, tinted lip balm. Boy, I'm out of space. I'm so sorry. This is getting messy. But I have it right here. I love this. I threw this in my purse, and my kids have been asking to use this. It smells coconutty and delicious, sweet and delicious, but it's also a beautiful color and hydrating. And this is one that I feel like I can wear under my mask when I'm outside, because I always like to have some sort of hydration on my lips, but it's not so much pigment that I'm worried that it's going to stain the inside of my mask. I make my own masks, so they're fabric, and I wouldn't want to have to get lip products out of it, which is why I haven't been wearing some of the bolder shades, like that Fire and Ice shade or Zinnia from Wayne Goss. I haven't been wearing those on my lips. I wear more of a neutral or a really sheer, but it's super comfortable. Really like it. I repurchased this. This is from Lipstick Queen. This is Hello Sailor. It's a vitamin E lip balm. I just discovered that they're starting to sell, I have it swatched right here for you. At Walmart, they're starting to sell Lipstick Queen, and it's going to be at a reduced price. Somebody told me that they saw them for under $10. They were like $9.87 or something like that. And I was like, what? Because I spent $24 for this in June. It's one of my favorite lipsticks of all time, that and Medieval. I love those two sheer hydrating balmy lipsticks from Lipstick Queen, and as long as I can still purchase them, I will continue to. This is the last lip product that I've purchased. This is from Sydney Grace. This is one of the lip creams, and this is in the shade Bailey. So I haven't used this one as much. It is a thicker pigmented gloss. I wasn't sure whether the lip creams were going to be like a liquid lipstick, whether they were, but I'll tell you, I like this cooler kind of mauve-y tone to it. I like that it stays glossy. It doesn't feel heavy on the lips. If I'm not careful and I over apply, I can get some problems where it looks a little streaky, but if I don't go too crazy, like I always over apply, especially with gloss. But I'm curious about trying a warmer shade of this, but I really do like this one here in Bailey, and I have been using it. So most of what I purchased this year, I've been using a lot. Some things have gotten forgotten. Some things have been replaced. Some things just were not for me. And other things are still sadly living in their packaging. Thanks for watching today. I did swap out my lip product previously for this because I love this so much, and I know it doesn't really go with the eye, but I don't care. I love it so much. I think this was really good for me to do. It may not be as exciting for you to watch, but I'll tell you, I need to see what I've been spending money on, what works, what doesn't, and then remind myself that when I see something new and go, oh, that looks interesting. Matte lipsticks are not my fave. But I do like glossy lipsticks. And to remind myself that I already have a ton of peach blush, I don't need any more. I think that it's good to kind of put it all before me. I won't add up the price. I don't think I could be that harsh on myself. But the idea is for me to take stock. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end. I know this was arduous. Twas a lot. I should have split it up. I didn't really think I had this much stuff. And then once I put it all in the same place, I'm like, I can be brief. Apparently I cannot be brief. But for me, this is good. It's good to see these things are working for me, these things aren't. So the next time I'm drawn to something new and exciting that falls into the category of things that aren't working, I'm not going to continue to go, oh yeah, to sit down and to take stock and to go, this is working, this is not. And to remind myself things like, the only shadow singles I'm purchasing from now on out are Sydney Grace shadows. I'm not going to purchase, and who knows that I really even need that many more because I already have a ton. But I want to make sure that I'm not spending in categories where I'm not going to find things useful. You could argue with all the makeup I have, I shouldn't buy a thing ever for the rest of my life, and I could paint my face to the day I die. I'm sure that's true. But from a makeup lover standpoint and somebody who likes to try new things, I need to know what works and what doesn't, and stop myself from, reliving those doesn't work for me products. Oh, but this one's pretty. I think this one will. I need to convince myself I don't need to do that anymore. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you have an amazing day. Let me know if you've been purchasing or not purchasing, or kind of somewhere in the middle because of the current world situation. Let me know where you fall in that spectrum, or are you like to watch other people talk about their makeup and you just have your little bag of things that work for you. Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being subscribed. Have an amazing day, and I will see you again soon. Bye.